Hi guys, this is gsno.com and I'm here with a bit of a surprise. It was just announced. This is the Huawei Mate Xs. So it's basically the follow-up to the Mate X, the first foldable phone from the company, and it opens up like this. You press this here and you turn a phone into a tablet. A tablet that has an 8-inch diagonal size. Now the format has remained largely the same, but there are some changes under the hood. So this device was supposed to be unveiled at Mobile World Congress 2020, but that was cancelled because of the coronavirus, and still the launch of the phone happened, but without the Mobile World Congress. So it debuted on February 24th with the whole Huawei mobile services thing, and this Mate Xs will be detailed in the following minutes here at gsnom.com. So it's supposed to be a bit of a hands-on review after spending a few days with the handset. Not sure about the price tag right now. I imagine it's somewhere around $2,000, but let's get straight to it. It's a 5G capable device which holds a pretty similar format to the predecessor, although it's supposed to have an improved hinge. Now, once again, this is the regular phone format. You are not using the back screen, except for the moments when you want to take a selfie, and when you want the whole screen, you press this button here and it's all opened up. Now, unlike the Galaxy Fold, which closes up, this one opens up in order to expand the screen. And luckily there's no hinge here, there's no visible crease, there's no deeper area, there's not a ditch in the middle of the screen. You really cannot see that there are basically two screens here. You perceive them as one single screen. So no matter how you hold the device, I had zero problems, and well, when all said and done, it's got a pretty solid build. So the protection here is obviously not glass. The phone hasn't reached that point yet, and it's basically a standard plastic protection, so beware of scratches. Why? Especially because you're going to leave both parts of the screen exposed. This one at the front, this one at the back, they're exposed to scratches. Now the good thing is that there's no gap between the two sides, as you can see here, and there's a lot of metal, some plastic, and of course a bit of glass in the mix. Now the phone itself is heavy, 300 grams, and it measures 11 millimeters in thickness. If you unfold it, the slimmest part is only 5.4 millimeters, which is crazy. And here we have the buttons. So we have a power button with the fingerprint scanner, we got the volume buttons here. At the bottom we have the speaker on this part and the USB-C port. There's no audio jack, and well, that's about it design wise. When you unfold the phone, you get 8 inches, the main screen is a 6.6 incher and the back screen is a 6.38 incher used for selfies. The hue you're seeing here is called Interstellar Blue. The phone is very rounded on the edges, and it means it's a bit slippery, so you may drop it if you're not careful. Hopefully not, so grip it properly. Comfy buttons, and I'll have to say that compared to my own iPad mini, which is actually smaller than this diagonal size, I had a pretty easy time using this device even with a single hand. So you hold it here by this knob and you're going to be using it pretty easily. Of course, you can also hold it like this. It's also a good way of holding it, and this will also happen during games. I think we're done with the design. The good thing is that we don't have a crease. The bad thing is that it's a heavy phone at 300 grams. Now on the display front, what we got here is an 8-inch screen unfolded. It's an OLED panel with a resolution of 2480 over 2020 pixels. It's actually 2480 over 2200 pixels available here, and well, that's the overall screen resolution. The main screen resolution is actually a bit smaller as expected. It's 2480 over 1148 pixels, and just so you know, the secondary screen, which lights up for selfies, has a resolution of 2480 over 892 pixels. Okay, so enough with the figures, let's go through the experience. So we have a video here, the typical test video, and let's have a look at it. The phone does not have the Google Play Store and the Google services, so you're going to have to watch a video like this in the browser. That's the experience on the singular screen where you're using the phone experience. And if you want to get the benefit of the whole screen, you do this motion and you're watching videos like this now. Or once again, You can do it like this. Okay, so there is no crease, but sometime if you don't really fold it open properly and totally, you will see a small mountain or a small hill in this side here, but it goes away quickly. Okay, so the viewing experience, a pretty bright and crisp display with wide view angles. I had zero problems within the sunlight, so it has a pretty nifty contrast, solid contrast, and overall a pretty nice experience screen-wise. Even though you may feel weird because of the black bars, but it's a square format, so there's nothing you can do about that. Some apps will fill the screen, but they will crop some of the characters out. Okay, we're done with that. Of course, you got your usual tweaks for the display. So you can go here, display and brightness. You got your color mode and temperature, normal or vivid, default, warm or cool. Let's see what else. So you got your sleep mode, you got your dark mode, your brightness, the folding screen options that involve app scaling, and actually use this one on the game Asphalt 9. And that's about it. I'm pretty happy with the screen here. You're gaining a lot of screen estate, even though the format is much smaller than my own iPad mini. So that's a big deal. Okay, now we proceed with the rest of the features, and I'm talking about the CPU. Of course, it's a powerful one. It's the Huawei Mate Kirin 990 5G version, just so you know. So it's the same CPU that we saw on the Huawei Mate 30 Pro 5G. Now this processor that I just mentioned is accompanied by let's see, 8 GB of RAM, and also 512 GB of storage. There's also the nano memory card slot if you want more storage, up to 256 GB extra. I should probably mention that this is a prototype. It's not finalized. It's written here, not for sale. So keep that in mind when viewing this review and our conclusions. Okay, so once again, 8 gigs RAM, 512 gigs storage, proprietary nano card slot, no lag per se, so it's a powerful phone for sure. And also I did play some games on it like Asphalt 9, but in the end it's a prototype and not finalized software, but still it ran pretty okay. Also did a bunch of benchmarks, of course not very relevant in the context of once again having a prototype, but just a quick glance at them. So for example, here we got the Slingshot Extreme ES 3.1, and this test here were actually placed on the third spot from all the phones we've tested, just below the Asus ROG Phone 2 and the ZTE Nubia Red Magic 3S, which were gaming phones. It beats the iPhone 11 Pro Max. It beats Galaxy Fold by 5 points, but still it beats it, so that's got to count for something. We also did a bunch of other tests. You're going to find out more in the review. This is the SunSpider one. The iPhone score better here, I'm sure. This is the Jetstream one, and this is the Basemark Web one. It's a prototype, so I will not insist too much on it. The performance is great so far, and now let's proceed to the battery. Okay, so I should probably mention that throughout my use of the device, with its fast charge, with its gaming and all the other activities, it did not suffer from overheating, so heat will not be a problem. Now on the battery front, what we got here is a device that has a 4500 mAh battery split into two units, each of them 2250 mAh. It's got supercharge at 55 watts, which means 85% of battery is charged in 30 minutes. You need a special cable and a special charger for that, so you best remember that aspect. Now aside from that, I used it for 2 days, and I have to say that you're going to get a day of battery usage, which is not bad for a foldable. However, I did not use the 5G, so that may deplete it faster. Basically, you should be able to go through your work day easily using this handset and its battery. And with the fast charging, you will totally be able to juice it up in a hurry. Okay, so it depends on how much of a power user you are and how much you need all of its features and how much you're going to activate that 5G. On the acoustics front, I expected stereo, but we got a single speaker here at the bottom side, and I think we can actually go and listen to a tune that we have here. Yep, here we go. Okay, so you may be tempted to worry, oh my god, the speaker is here, I'm going to cover it with my hand. There will not be a problem like that, because as you can see, there's plenty of room for the sound to go out. So the bass is generous, the case does not vibrate when using the speaker, and I was generally happy with the volume. It's actually too high, if I can say so. I'm pretty sure we go past 100 decibels. I'm actually very sure. So enough bass, enough volume, you'll be happy with it, but still, it would have been nice to have actually stereo speakers. Now on the camera front, we don't have a selfie camera. No trace of that here, so we're going to use the back camera for selfies. It's a quad camera setup. You can see here the Leica logo, the dual LED flash, and there's 3 cameras and a time of flight sensor. It's basically the setup of the Huawei P30 Pro minus the special periscope camera. So we got a 40 megapixel shooter as the main camera, 16 megapixel ultra wide camera, 8 megapixel telephoto camera with optical image stabilization. I suspect it has 3x optical zoom, just a suspicion of mine, and time of flight. Okay, so let me show you the whole selfie taking thing. So how do we take selfies? It's very simple. So the camera interface will feel familiar if you've seen the Mate 30 Pro reviews and interface. So if you want to take selfies, you press this, flip the phone, and voila, this is me. And I can apply beauty effects with a slider here, and I can also apply the portrait effects, super, circles, hearts, you name it. So that's about it. When you're done, you press this, flip the phone the other way, and you are done. One thing that bothers me is the zoom slider. So if you want to go to the wide, you either press this, and if you want to go to the other levels, you just have to swipe like this. So there's that. So let me find an object and try to show you what's happening. Okay, so here we are with the camera, and this is how the zoom is done. It's pretty fine up to 3x, not bad of 5x, and you can go as crazy as 30x. The performance is similar to the Huawei P30 more than the P30 Pro, so that's about it. The options are pretty straightforward. There's a master AI, there's video, there's a pro mode, there's a more section with a super macro, which I haven't seen before. You can shoot 4K video at 60 frames per second, and of course there's also portrait option. Okay, I think I want to show the gallery, even though we're working with a prototype, a sample of the phone, so I'm not very sure if the software is finalized. I actually have a feel there's more to be done here. I was generally happy with the quality of the shots. So let's go through them using the big screen version. I actually started with the selfies, and I'm pretty blown away by the selfies. We're using a main camera, so that's why they're above average and actually above anything else on the market. I'm talking about the texture of the face, the separation of the planes, the foreground and the background, the way you see the beard hairs. So check out the difference here. Regular shot, a bit of beautification, and a nice shot where you can see each and every pimple and thread of hair on the face. So a lot of details and excellent texture. Of course, we also took the wide shots. This monument did not fit my frame, but with the ultra wide one it did. As you can see, it's a bit whiter. That's what I noticed in the ultra wide captures. Once again, ultra wide and regular shot, a bit whiter for the ultra wide one. Okay, so pretty nice colors, a lot of details. You can take the 40 megapixel shots in full or take the 10 megapixel shots. I'm happy with the clarity here. I even played with the super macro mode because it feels new to me, and the results are pretty impressive. The performance is generally between the Huawei P30 Pro and the Mate 30 Pro, somewhere in between, so solid. That's the conclusion. I play with the zoom here, zoomed in on the horse, and up to 5x. It's quite nice, but it gets grainy after that point. Several more shots here. We also play with the bokeh options. One of the cute things is that you can actually zoom in on your face when you're taking selfies, which is not something that you do with any selfie camera. That's about it. That's my conclusion between the P30 Pro and the Mate 30 Pro. Didn't get to test the camera at night. Had the device for too little time, but I did get to test the video captures. So here we go. First of all, excellent microphones. We actually have 3 of them. Underwhelming stabilization, that's for sure. It's still a work in progress. It feels a bit wobbly. In general, the filming felt a bit wobbly. It may depend on how you're holding the phone. Is it open? Is it folded? Is it not? Which side you're using, and all that jazz. Now the actual colors and calibration are fine. If you go with 4K 60 frames per second, you'll be impressed by the quality, by the clarity. The focus is okay. Dynamic range is quite generous. Okay, this actually started before. So in general, not bad when it comes to the capture. Vivid colors, good clarity, nice frame rate, and actually have a focus test here somewhere. It's supposed to be a statue, and I think it's actually this one. Focusing on the statue and on the background, pretty fast focus change. Okay, and we have more. We're going to show them to you in the review. And we also have a selfie test. Not half bad, not very well stabilized, but very, very clear. Okay, so we're done with that. You can easily fight the Huawei P30 Pro minus zoom and also the Mate 30 Pro, and this is the initial stage. Imagine the finalized one. So I think it's time to talk about the connectivity. Now the phone here has an USB-C port. It doesn't have an audio jack, but what it has is the infrared emitter here, which you're going to be using from the tool section from the smart remote to control your TV set, set-top box, whatever other device you have in the home. So that's nice to have. Aside from that, there's a 4G LTE, there's 5G, and if you don't believe me, you can go here and you can see the mobile data. You have here 5G, 4G, 3G, and 2G. You have two SIMs, so one is 4G and one is 5G. Bluetooth 5.0, Wi-Fi dual band. There should also be NFC, and all the connectivity is covered. So Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, NFC, 4G, 5G, and USB-C. Now let's talk about the software. So we're running on Android 10 here with EMUI 10 on top. And here we have something called the Today area, where we can see some shortcuts, search for stuff, get your news. An interesting feature is that if you want to do some multitasking, you're going to see the windows like this, and you're probably going to imagine the split screen. Well, it's not actually your regular split screen. From what I can see, you're going to be getting your apps a sort of a floating thingy, like a pop-up window, at least on this prototype version of the phone. So there's that. Okay, other than that, it doesn't have the Google services or the Google Play Store, but you can use those solutions, those workarounds, Aptoid and APK Pure. And if you don't want them or fear them, there's always the Huawei App Gallery, which is getting filled with a lot of apps and a lot of developer partnerships, so it's getting there. And also today, Huawei launched the Huawei Mobile Services, trying to replicate the Google services and eliminate all problems. Now the device is locked via fingerprint scanner. It's amazingly fast, and just to show you I'm real, I'm going to press this here, which is not the finger, the proper finger. This is the proper finger, and very fast. Otherwise, the same experience from the Mate 30 Pro is here. You can see here the widgets. Got a minimalistic interface. You swipe down like this and you got here quick settings. There's screenshot, there's wireless projection, there's screen recorder, there's dark mode, which actually just activated just for kicks. Okay, there's the web browser you saw here, and which you're going to use for the whole YouTube thing. This is the virtual keyboard you're using, and this is another version of it in this aspect and format, which seems a bit wider. And well, that's it. Basically, you got your themes, you got your important optimizer, which takes care of your resources, does a bit of cleanup. And Huawei is always updating the list of apps. You got your video apps here, you got your shopping apps here, you got some banking apps even, so they're always trying to make up for the lack of Google services. And at the end, I'm going to show you some gaming just as we wrap up. So Huawei Mate Xs. Okay, so what's different from the Mate X? From what I've heard, they've reworked the hinge a little bit, and at the same time, aside from reworking the hinge, they're offering you a new CPU. They have a very fast battery charging with a proper accessory, and let's go back here, and they have a pretty generous screen estate. That's some of the things that they're offering here. Okay, so we're racing here. We got this car here, hopefully, and here we go. So the format is pretty comfortable if you're grabbing the phone like this from this part here, which holds the camera, but it's also comfortable like this. It's a very slim device if you look at it like this, only 5.4 millimeters. It's got all the firepower you need. and well, it has a pretty amazing speaker. That's what I found. Didn't expect it. I'm pretty sure it goes past 100 decibels. Of course, there's the problem of the Google Play services, which maybe someday will be fixed. Someday, maybe, who knows. Till that happens, we still have the you know, the Huawei mobile services, which were just launched. This game looks amazing, by the way. I can actually feel all the graphical performance that we saw in the benchmarks. So you're going to be getting the phone because it has 5G, the latest Huawei processor, which, by the way, should be present on the Huawei P40 Pro, so you're getting a taste early. It's got a whole foldable thing going for it, powerful speaker, pretty solid camera, even as a prototype, and it charges amazingly fast, comfier than my own iPad mini, and with a pretty okay battery for a foldable. I'm curious what happens if I fold it. Oh, so you continue playing. That's cute. Those are the pros earlier, and the cons are there's no Google services. It's actually heavy at 300 grams. It's a bit slippery. It only has one speaker. There's no protection against scratches, and you're going to be putting your hands on the camera a lot. So that's it. So don't make me compare it to the Galaxy Fold. They're different beasts, different animals. This one is totally a tablet replacement. The Galaxy Fold is a more hip gadget. It's an expanded phone. This one, it's a true tablet killer. This is it from gsn1.com, our first contact, hands-on and quick review of the Mate Xs from Huawei. Bye bye.